Welcome to Asenso Tayo Leaders, where we bring you real stories from leaders like you so you can lead with more clarity, direction, and confidence. We are introducing part 2 episode of The Mountain Is You with Charm Melhem. I'm also very curious since we've touched base about the communication and how it felt, and you were part of the pivot team and things like that, and what you were trying to do. But now that you have been a leader for quite some time, you're leading a team, you're managing people as well. And what are some of those like strategies or things that you do to make your members or the team feel comfortable to communicate to you or to be transparent to you?
I think it starts with the leaders, right? You just want to make sure that your team understands that the business has, for example, in Pivot, we have full transparency as one of our values. So we try to
Mm.
instill that to them very early on in the onboarding journey of any new team members. Full transparency, it could be very good thing or it could be a bad thing. When you get to talk about that with people, makes it easier to make decisions from there. So when I was managing the Cebu team, it was a bit easy because I know the culture, I know how the mindset works.
Mm.
So it was easier for me to sort of get that communication out from them. I put calendar blocks for the team so the team has access to view my calendar, and
Mhm.
anything that has that block, they can schedule in meetings with me, training that they need, support that they need. One other thing is I created like a form, especially with HubSpot, where it's a
Mhm.
new system and there's a lot of questions. I created request forms specifically for them so that it makes it easier for them. Because I know some people might find it a bit difficult to communicate directly to their
Yeah.
leaders. It's something that you can learn later on. But for those people, I created that HubSpot form so that they can just chuck in their questions there.
Okay, all right. So that's really good because there's a lot of people listening as well and now also conducting meetings and having an opportunity to speak with the team. And it's really good that you really touched base about understanding the culture as well so that you can set expectation and you're really very open.
What I mentioned earlier, when we learned about the model of the world, it helped me a lot understanding where they're coming from. Obviously, there are life experiences that molds how you think of the world, how you see the world, and seeing that from the other person's perspective. Like, sometimes when we get into like an argument with someone, we always respond based on how we look at the world, but also taking a step back and seeing it from their perspective might actually settle the arguments, like understanding where they're coming from and getting into the way they take things as well. That helped me a lot. So getting that confidence and standing, like even the smallest thing that you can shift with your physiology has helped me as
Mm.
well. Not slouching, because I feel
Yeah.
like slouching, like you look very not confident at all. So getting that, and that actually helped me communicate more confidently with
Mm.
people.
Yeah. I saw a presenter once at a conference who had this like power pose, and she said that she would do this power pose backstage before she'd walk on stage because the way you hold your body sends all these messages to your brain
Yeah.
about how to feel. So, yeah, I think there's a really interesting connection between our body and our mind when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Charma, I want to wrap up the communication with a couple of final questions for you. And I suppose I want to think of communication in terms of delivering challenging messages potentially, and also being receptive to challenging messages. So let's start on the delivery side of things. If someone out there is listening and they need to have an uncomfortable conversation with their boss or a coworker or someone that they're managing, and they've been putting it off because they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And they're just feeling really icky about it. So they keep pushing it down their list. They know they need to bite the bullet and have this conversation. What are two or three of your best tips for how they can feel better and do a good job of that conversation?
I always believed in ripping the band-aid off method. Having the conversation early, being honest about it, is actually better than putting things off. It just drags things, and the confidence is going to go down from there if you keep dragging things out. And at the same time, I've always believed in the sandwich method. You deliver something good, then you say the hard conversation, and then you provide a solution, not just have the conversation and then you go let them be by themselves. Provide any good insights. Obviously, that team member have done some good things in a business, and then have the hard conversation and provide a solution. What can we do from here? How can we improve from here?
So what about the other side? I reckon there's a lot of people out there who would hate the idea of their colleagues or their team or anyone around them at work feeling uncomfortable about having a difficult conversation with them. But I also think I know people in a range of businesses who would absolutely love people to be open, but then I see some of their actions and I go, these things you probably don't realize it, but they're stopping people wanting to reach out to you. So, what are some of your best tips for leaders out there to make it feel safer, more comfortable, and to be more open to other people around them sharing the truth, not putting off those conversations or watering down the truth?
It really boils down building that trust with your team member. Building that trust is really big when it comes to, getting open communication started. Sharing something from yourself as well. When I do like performance reviews with my team members before in Cebu, I usually start, especially when it's a hard conversation, I usually start about my own personal experiences. I've done this before, I've made this mistake before, I course corrected, and this is where I am now. Things like that. And getting them seeing that, oh, this person is a leader. She also made a mistake before. I feel more confident in talking about myself too.
Yeah, I think that's something that popped into my head earlier and that's popped up again is I think of times when I was a business coach working with Ben and something that I'd tried didn't go to plan or I'd made a mistake and I'd share that with him. And that's such a moment of truth, right? That if he gets annoyed or frustrated, you're going to be a lot less likely to want to do that in the future. Whereas when any leader makes it feel safe and yeah, that instant reaction is so important to take that breath and to make sure that you're bringing the energy to that conversation that's going to make sure that there's more of those conversations in the future. Yeah, it sounds to me like that's something you've developed as a skill is getting really good at taking that breath and going, how do I want to respond? But also because you've been surrounded by people at Pivot in particular who have also adopted that same attitude.
Yeah, definitely. And accountability is also a big thing. Being accountable for your actions and the actions of your team members. I'm accountable for it as well because I'm your leader. And taking that accountability, making sure that, you are on their side rather than fighting
Mm,
with them has
Yeah.
helped me navigate through difficult conversations.
beautiful. Now, I don't think I've told you about this, but we have a set of quick climb questions that are these short, sharp questions that we ask every guest. And we're about to get into them, but I just have one last question before we get into those. I want to zoom out from everything that we've talked about because the one thing that I think just defines you and just impresses me to no end is that I think anyone has a choice. They can go to work every day and they can just wait to be told what to do. They can go, this is what my boss or the leaders expect. And as long as I'm doing those things, I'm doing a good job. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it's a choice. But then there's another type of team member. And this is the team member who pushes themselves and doesn't wait to be asked to do something or told what to do, but actually finds things to do. And I know you to be this person that you're constantly seeing opportunities. And like to put it quite bluntly, you're making your to-do list longer rather than shorter every single day because you're bringing something into your role and into Pivot that is very personal to you. And so I suppose just zooming out from everything, what are the benefits of being the person you are when it comes to work compared to the person who just does as little as possible? What has that personally delivered to you that means it's worth you going through all that discomfort, all that heartache, all that extra work, all of that learning from doing that you've so beautifully gone through over the years?
I always see myself as my biggest competitor. I always love to challenge myself. And I always think about it. The person that I am today is better than I was yesterday. That's how I always think about myself. I go into work and I always think about what are the things that we can improve on? How can we be more efficient and see yourself as, rather than looking at other people as competitions, like why not look at myself as my competition and compete with myself, the person that I was to the person that I am now, and seeing that development, that personal and professional growth definitely is the joy of it.
And for
But
sure, there are like rewards that came in. I'm gonna
Yeah.
imagine that, yeah, and recognition probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
what are some of
definitely.
those? Like, I'm sure people will say, "Oh, what happened to Charm? Was Pivot the one who took her to Canada or something like that?"
The most recent trip to Sydney was all paid for by
Wow. Yeah.
Pivot. The remuneration program, the bonus scheme. So just pushing yourself and setting
Mm.
a goal for yourself as well. Because I get remuneration, I get
Mm.
increased every year based on my
Mm.
performance. That has motivated me to do more in the business, and that in return that has allowed me to do a lot of travels. I'm very fortunate to be able to come home to the Philippines at least
Mm.
once or twice a year, which I know a lot of other people are not able to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's definitely because of the work that I'm doing.
It came naturally as you push yourself going above and beyond your role.
Yeah, definitely. And I wasn't looking at it in a way where I'm expecting something, but
Yeah,
your
yeah,
leaders will see the hard work that you're doing.
yeah.
Like you don't have to show them like, oh, this is what I did today.
I
This
love
is,
that.
so you just do your work. I'm the type of person who just, I'm doing my work. I try to give ideas and suggestions and call out any roadblocks and bottlenecks, and I don't have to build a spreadsheet to
Yeah.
showcase what I've
Mm.
done.
Like putting your heart into whatever you do, and then it just comes naturally.
Yeah,
Something like that.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I love that Charm.
Yeah. I get the feeling though, Charm, that part of that for you, one of the benefits has been that instead of waiting to be put on the Melhem Family Hall of Fame, uh, or getting that external validation, that part of it is that you receive internal validation from realizing your potential and seeing yourself grow. And like just hearing so many things you've said today, I'm sitting here going, my gosh, you have so many evolved tools. Like you are so wise. But I get the feeling that part of what you get from work isn't just the paycheck, the trip to Sydney, the
Yeah.
bonuses, but there's this personal journey that you're on where you're realizing what you're capable of. That's probably the real reward. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Like I
Mm.
said, the growth has been exponential.
Mm.
Acknowledging the journey that I've been and where I am now, just looking at myself, I sort of like, you did a good job, and I'm proud
Yeah.
of you moments. So I do get that as well.
That's beautiful. But that doesn't
Mm.
get given to you and it doesn't come easy. There's that
Definitely not.
feeling only comes from leaving nothing on the table and saying, I've given this
Mm.
everything I can.
Yeah, it's literally stepping out of your comfort zone, embracing the unknown, and coping and adapting and learning.
Mm.
Continuous learning is very powerful.
Gosh, I'm feeling inspired. I want to leave my comfort zone today. You should be proud, and I'm glad that you feel that pride because I think sometimes pride is people go like it. There's this aversion to giving yourself a pat on the back, but if you don't give yourself a pat on the back, the alternative is you're waiting for other people to do it,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily the happiest way to live your life. I'm so glad that you can do that.
Yeah, definitely. Especially nowadays, where there's a lot of people who are looking for external validation with social
Hmm.
media and everything that
Yeah.
you see online. It's very important to feel like you don't need those things. You don't need
Hmm.
those external validations. They're good when you get those validations from other people, makes you feel happy and proud of yourself. But getting
Mm.
that internal validation first and
It's
foremost.
powerful.
And
Yeah.
yeah, just telling yourself you don't need other people's validation, like you're doing a good work.
Mm.
It is very powerful.
Create your own Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Ah, I've got the Killig.
Yeah.
I reckon we should jump into our quick climb questions.
Yes.
Oh, I'll do my
I-
best.
So we have 5 quick questions that we ask every guest. I'm going to throw another 2 on the list that have popped up during this conversation. But let's start off with, what is a big mistake that you've made as a leader at any time in your career? And what did you learn from it?
I think at some point, because I was so hesitant to talk about things, especially this involved a very close friend of mine who I referred to work in Pivot, that actually ruined our friendship. So I
Oh.
felt, yeah, on a professional level, there were some things that happened, and then it impacted the personal side of things. I think just accepting that it had happened and, letting things settle down for now and
Yeah.
putting it on my list to really reach out to that person and talk things through as well. Yeah, it's the fear of this person I've known since high school,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to deliver the bad news to her.
The separation of being professional and being as a friend and what do I prioritize and things like that. Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah. Second question. What's a surprisingly simple leadership tip that actually works?
Open communication. Open communication is very simple, and people might think, it's so easy to do. It does come with its own nuances, but once you nail it down, it's very powerful.
I think that's so true. Like, I haven't really shared this on the podcast, but I used to be paralyzed by the fear of saying something to someone that they might not want to hear. And once you break through that and actually get good at open communication and realize not only is it not uncomfortable, sometimes it makes you closer and you have a better relationship. It becomes like weirdly addictive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next question. What are you currently trying to get better at, even if you're still figuring it out?
With my new role, there's a lot of nuances, some things where I have the oversight of every phase, every area of the business. So I think learning more about project management, I don't have any idea how that works. And Ben would say, we have an SEO strategy project. Here's the document. Here's what the output that I'm looking for. You go and do your thing. So yeah, I think project management and seeing things on like a bigger picture, that's one thing that I'd really like to keep learning.
And fourth question. When things get tough, how do you respond, Charm?
I actually take a step back. I take a breather. That's my first response. There's definitely that boiling response of, oh, I'm gonna have to, run away from this and try to find ways to not face it in a sense. But after that, I just take a breather, take a step back, and take that 15, 30-minute break. And you go back to that problem with a new perspective.
Really interesting that you mentioned the lion before, because I've seen an analogy about that, is that the lion isn't always in attack mode. They actually rest a lot, but it just means that when it's time to do something important, they have all the energy that they need. So I think that's I think that's a really interesting comparison for you. An oldie but a goodie, this question. If you could give yourself one piece of leadership advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Be brave, I would say. I have grown up in and I think a lot of the Filipino household might be able to relate to this, but I've grown up in a very toxic household where sometimes you don't know what to eat the next meal. It is very hard. It's a very hard childhood. And I haven't developed the right skills to be able to face the outside world or the adult world. And I've always been afraid. I've only started being brave in the recent years, maybe 7, 8 years ago, when I started learning all these tools to be a better person. But before, I was always afraid. I'm very introverted. I'm a big overthinker. And yeah, be brave. And there's nothing wrong with saying things that you want to say.
I just want to highlight this to everyone that it's so clear, Charm, that you have evolved so much since you have been at Pivot. And I think for all the leaders out there, Ben and the leadership team at Pivot have created an environment where Charm is always learning, can try things, can be brave. And I suppose that's the opportunity I see for all the leaders out there is your leadership has the potential to change people's lives and to help the people around you evolve similar to the way you have, Charm. It's just about creating that right environment where people can find what they're capable of and find their own version of braveness. It's just so beautiful to hear you reflect on that because I think that is to me one of the greatest gifts of leadership is what it can create for the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. The opportunities that opened up in where I started as an admin and now as a leader, that wouldn't happen if my leaders would have stumped my growth. But instead, they supported my growth and provided the necessary tools to be able to succeed in the roles that I've been in.
So good. I'm feeling quite emotional about hearing that. It's just so cool. It's so cool.
And I tell you, Becky, Charm's story is also there's many of our leaders as well who would really relate to that progression from their childhood and to now. And I think a lot of which also contributed to how Charm is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you
I
for
think that,
sharing.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's so important to have guests on that people can see themselves in, right?
Yeah.
So couldn't think of a better example than you, Charm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. You're making me blush.
Well, but before we all start crying,
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to a lighthearted question. And this popped up during the chat because you mentioned the books that you've read and how much reading
Yes.
you've done to help yourself evolve. I know that the leaders listening to this are sponges. You know, they're listening to this podcast because they want to be better leaders and they probably would love to know what books you would recommend. So, just straight off the top of your head, what are some of the books that you think are must reads for leaders who want to take the next step in their journey?
One of the most recent ones I'm currently reading is called The Mountain Is You. It's transforming self sabotage into self mastery. We tend to always self sabotage. So this book helps you understand why we do it, when we do it, and how to stop doing it for good. So I think that's one of the things because one of your biggest roadblock is yourself sometimes. Yourself telling you you can't do it or you don't have the necessary skills to do it. And that book has actually helped me understand why is that my first response to things and shifting your mindset from there.
Yeah. I'm actually writing that down.
I actually think we have the title of our episode now.
Yes.
The Mountain Is You.
The mountain is you. Okay. I love that.
Unbelievable. Any others, or is that the main one you recommend people read?
I've read The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what a great title.
that's it. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
phenomenal book.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. If I buy that book, I'm gonna hide it because my kids might see that.
Yeah.
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 The whole premise of the book, Maria, it's very cool, is that
Yeah.
we only have a set amount of Fs that we can give in our life.
Yeah.
And if you give your Fs to things that don't need that energy or don't matter, it means you've got less Fs for the things that matter. So you've got to get very clear on what matters. So you can literally, he uses the phrase deploy your Fs towards those things.
Yeah,
So
that
cool.
definitely helped me become more contented and grounded in life. Because when you think about success, a lot of people are like, being happy is success for them, or, having a lot of money is success for them. But I think for me, success is contentment. Contentment in the sense that you just don't stop there. You still learn to grow, but you become contented of what you are and how you've become and what you've become in life, I think that is success for me.
Thank you, Charm. And I think this is always going to be the best part. And I think we're going to do this more often.
It's on the list.
Because you said you're not gonna say no, okay? And we do have
No,
the
I said I
recording. We do have a recording. So, what is your go-to karaoke song, Charm?
there's quite a lot. I
Yeah.
don't sing very well, but I love
Mm,
karaoke. So
yeah.
I think one of that I can remember right now at the top of my head is Saving All My Love for You by Whitney.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a cracker. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I don't know that song. Can you sing it for me so I know what song
Uh,
you mean?
Yeah, you have to.
can I take a pass on this song?
I'll sing it for you. I think it goes, "'Cause I'm saving all my love
Yeah.
for you."
Yes,
Mm.
that's how it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I grew up in a big Whitney household.
Oh,
They're all tattooed on my brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
So
I've never thought of that in
cool.
karaoke. Next time
Mm,
I come to Cebu,
add that.
I might load
Definitely.
that one up. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. And we'll have some karaoke with Charm in the future.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
for
We
sure.
have to.
For
Lock it
sure.
Yes.
in. Lock it
Yeah.
in.
Okay. Thank you so much, Charm. Really appreciate you taking the time. You know, it's supposedly you're here in Cebu and we want to spend time with family, but
Uh,
you really made time for us and we value this
Um,
so much. And what I'm so excited about the entire conversation and I'm excited about the audience to hear your story is really about you shared about your humble beginnings. You really spoke a lot about admitting to yourself, being self-aware and that constant challenge to yourself as opposed to challenging others. And there's a lot of things you're not ready, but you just go ahead, take a leap, jump ahead and take a chance. But then you never hesitate to communicate and say, I do not know what I'm doing. I need help. I need guidance and things like that. And I think this is the main highlights, the entire conversation will really just resonate to a lot of the Filipino leaders, particularly because there's a lot of that cultural aspect that it doesn't come naturally to us. And it's a lot of learning and a lot of reminder to the team as well that it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask guidance for priorities. It's okay to say, I don't know, and but still go ahead with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the boss controlling every single thing that you do, but it's having that passion to go an extra mile and you're happy about it. And you spoke a lot about contentment. And I think that's so powerful, Charm. And thank you so much for being with us and sharing all of this. And I really will take note of these books, the 131 technique and things like that. I will make sure to apply it. So guys, those who are listening, 5F leaders, take note. I will share this all with you as well once I have the chance to read this book too. But Charm, thank you so
um,
much.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having me. It was really fun. I was a little bit nervous coming into it, but it was fun. You guys made it really comfortable conversation and yeah, fun conversation as well.
Yeah, that's good. I think if we had just like taking a coffee, having coffee together. But yeah, but really appreciate it, Charm. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Thank
welcome.
you,
Thank you for
Charm.
having me.
See you soon.
All right, see you guys.